Hey everyone! Sorry, I slept terribly last night. First, I just couldn't fall asleep. I got into bed at 10, but I just laid there feeling anxious. Yes, I spent some time on my phone too, but I just couldn't fall asleep. Then, when I finally did fall asleep, I was woken up by this horrible cramp in my shoulder. I know my workout yesterday was a little intense, but this seriously hurts. And now my brain is all fuzzy, and even though I've already had 2 cups of coffee, or was it 3? I don't remember. What was I saying? Anyway, I got into bed at 10 last night and my alarm went off just after 9 this morning. That's like 11 hours. Well, okay, so maybe I did stay up looking at my phone a little longer than I had planned, and I did hit the snooze button a few times, and I had like 3 cups of coffee yesterday, but still! On the bright side, today's lesson is all about getting a good night's sleep, so hopefully I can figure out what I need to do to fix this situation. First, we'll look at the importance of getting a good night's sleep. Next, we'll go over how and why to wind down before bed and how stretching can support a good night's sleep. Sound good? Great. I'm going to take a few seconds here to make myself presentable. See you soon. That's better. Okay, I'm ready to get started. Here we go. Because sleep is the only time when our body is totally at rest, it's when our bodies, including our brains, recover from the day. This is why getting a good night's sleep is so important for our overall health. But what does a good night's sleep actually mean? You've probably been told at some point that you should get about 8 hours of sleep. But is that true? According to the Centers for Disease Control, teens should get approximately 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night, though our individual needs vary. However, a good night's sleep is not just about the number of hours spent in bed. It's also about the quality of your sleep. So, while I may have been in bed for 11 hours last night, I was probably asleep for just 5 or 6 of those hours. And I was constantly waking up and trying to fall back asleep. So how much time was I actually in a deep, restorative sleep? We all go through different stages of sleep as part of our sleep cycle. The first stage is when you've just fallen asleep and your body just begins to wind down. It only lasts about 1 to 7 minutes. During stage 2, your heart rate and breathing slow while your muscles relax. This lasts about 10 to 25 minutes. Stage 3 is when we get to a deep sleep state. This kind of sleep is critical to restorative sleep, the kind of sleep that helps your body recover and grow. The 4th stage is called REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement because while your body is the most relaxed at this point, the muscles in your eyes and the muscles that keep you breathing are still active. REM sleep supports cognitive functions like learning, memory, emotional well-being, and creativity. It's the sleep stage where we have our most vivid dreams, but it takes an average of 90 minutes to even reach this stage. We go through all of these stages multiple times every night. Generally, we spend more of the first half of the night in deep sleep and more of the second half in REM sleep. So, if we're cutting our sleep short or waking up before we reach REM sleep, we can't get the kind of quality restorative sleep we need, and in particular, we may struggle to regulate our emotions. Smartwatches and other technologies that track our sleep have become increasingly common, although they can be inaccurate and unreliable. However, there's an easy way to assess the quality of your sleep: how you feel when you wake up. After a poor night's sleep, you might experience a range of symptoms, including difficulty thinking clearly, concentrating, remembering information, and making decisions. Changes to your mood, including anxiety, frustration, and depression. A weakened immune system, which makes you more prone to illness and slows recovery. Decreased coordination and focus, which can lead to accidents and injury. In the long term, increased risk of health issues like cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes. Does any of this sound familiar? Most of us get a poor night's sleep once in a while, but studies have repeatedly shown that teens are particularly prone to chronic or ongoing sleep deprivation, with over 70% of teens failing to get the required 8 to 10 hours. This has been linked to a number of other problems, ranging from poor academic performance to an increased risk of car accidents to depression and anxiety. On the other hand, the benefits of a good night's sleep include improved cognition and focus, increased energy, and that refreshed feeling, and decreased stress. So, can't you just take a nap? Or make up for it by sleeping in on the weekends? Well, yes and no. The occasional poor night's sleep can be helped by getting more sleep the following day or by taking a nap. But you can't really make up for that lost time, especially if you've been sleeping poorly frequently or over an extended period. But what about caffeine? While coffee or an energy drink can be a tempting short-term solution, it doesn't address the underlying issue. In fact, consuming caffeine or other energy-boosting supplements later in the day can disrupt the systems within our body that regulate sleep and make it even harder to get good quality sleep. On top of that, when consumed regularly, energy drinks and supplements have been linked to potentially severe side effects like dehydration, irregular heartbeat, chest pains, anxiety, kidney damage, and insomnia. This is why, rather than trying to mask the symptoms of poor quality sleep, we are going to focus on steps you can take to improve your sleep so that you feel rested and energized. So how do we set ourselves up for a good night's sleep? The key is to take time to wind down from our day. The more relaxed we are before going to bed, the better we sleep. Let's go through some practical steps to help you wind down before bed. First, take it easy. An intense workout or scarfing down an extra large pizza right before bed doesn't exactly signal to your body that you're ready for sleep. Intense exercise boosts the hormone cortisol, which adversely affects the release of melatonin, the hormone that triggers sleep. Similarly, if your body is busy digesting your food, it can't relax and get to sleep. You may also end up with indigestion or heartburn. Instead, give yourself at least an hour between working out or eating a large meal before heading to bed. Second, avoid screens and bright lights at least 60 minutes before bedtime. Intense light, especially the blue light from electronic devices, disrupts your circadian rhythm, which is your internal clock that tells your body when it's time for sleep. Putting away your devices and dimming the lights can also become part of an off-ramping routine. Off-ramping refers to a routine that signals to your body and mind that it's time to wind down for the day. Off-ramping can include taking a warm shower, a self-care routine, reading or journaling, or any other activity that helps you relax. Speaking of relaxing, can you guess what our third and final tip for winding down is? If you guess stretching, you're right. Stretching before bed helps improve sleep quality, but it can offer additional benefits for those who struggle to wind down and fall asleep. The best time to stretch at night is whenever and wherever you will be able to do so with consistency, but aim for about 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime. Adding this as part of an off-ramp routine will also help you stay consistent. Start with some slow, deep breaths to help relax your body and lower your heart rate. Try doing at least 1 minute of focused breathing. If you're feeling really anxious or stressed, maybe you've got a big test coming up, you can spend even longer focusing on your breathing until you start to feel more calm. I wish I had done that last night. Next, do some easy, low-intensity stretching. Now is not the time to push yourself or overdo it. You're trying to sleep, now work on your splits. Try stretching for at least 5 minutes to start, working your way up to 10 as you get more accustomed to your routine. You might also find it helpful to put on some calming music or white noise. When we stretch before we sleep, we relieve the tension in our muscles and improve blood flow, both which help our bodies relax. It can also prevent muscle spasms, which are common in muscles that we use frequently throughout the day. It probably would have helped me avoid waking up with this cramp. We've discussed a lot of great things you can do to get a good night's sleep. Let's recap. Remember that the quality of sleep you get impacts your life in many ways, including your ability to focus, your mood, the strength of your immune system, and even your overall physical health in the long term. And the bad news is, overall, you can't make up for lost sleep with coffee or energy drinks. But you can implement a good wind-down routine to make sure you're getting that quality sleep each night. In your next lesson with Coach Chloe, you'll learn a few new stretches that are particularly helpful towards earning a good night's sleep and are especially effective at relieving tension. Until then, you can implement the other key things you've learned about an effective nighttime routine to get those quality Z's. I think I'm going to start winding down right about now. At any heart rate, I'll see you next time. Hey, hey.